Hello, I'm Brian Clark with Cosecant Gaming, and I'm here today to show you some of the basic functionalities of Source SDK. Now, this is the Source SDK. There are many different options for doing things. However, the one we'll be mainly focused on is the Hammer editor. Just double click to open. Now, it may take a while to load the first time, so I'll just explain some of the basic aspects. It allows you to create items, add programs to them, and then run them in real actual games. For this one, we'll be working in a TF2 model game world. Now the Hammer editor is open, we want to go File, New, and start a new project. The first thing that will appear is these 4 boxes. These are the main boxes you will be with the entire time. The top left box, as you can see, is your camera. We're going to want to set it on 3D shaded textured polygons. That's basically how you're going to see it in the game. The one on the top right is the top, which shows the X and Y. This one is the side, the X and Z. This one is the front, Y and Z. These are useful for manipulating objects. But enough of my jib-jab. Let's go to creating something. So now, we're going to want to look on the left toolbar and select the block tool, the one that looks like Gray Cube. Click on it, and you're in the block cube. Now, your first opinion would be draw a square inside the black box. But as you can see, you're not allowed to do anything in here. That's why you have to do it in one of these 3 boxes. It works in all 3. As you've noticed, my blocks aren't being created. This is because you must hit the Enter key to create your block. Now your block has been created, but it doesn't look like much of a block. This is because your camera doesn't allow you to see it, because it's essentially inside of the block. In order to see your block, you can use the WASD keys to move around, and the arrow keys to look around. And we can see that we have a tall rectangular prism. Now the next thing we want to do is get to modifying our block. To do this, return to the selection tool, the top arrow, look into one of these side 3 bars. You can then manipulate it in the game world. This changes the X and Y coordinates, this the X and Z coordinates, and this is the Y and Z coordinates. That's simple modification of blocks. Another possibility for rotating your camera is to press the Z key. This locks the camera to your mouse, allows you to rotate your mouse to view. Then you can use the WSD keys to fly around. Now that we've created our first block, we'll want to do something with it. Now, this is just a block, but if we go inside of it, we'll see that there's nothing inside. This is because in most games, you're actually surrounded by blocks. So let's get around to making a cube in which we can actually do something. So let's first lower this block to a reasonable size and make it much wider. Now, we're going to want to create more blocks. We could create another block on top of it. Now they're on top of each other, and we can just drag it up. An easier way to do this, if I just delete this block, is to hold the Shift key and drag out another block, and it automatically copies. Now, in order to get the dimensions perfect, it would take a while to create all of the side slots. So I'll show you a little trick. If you click on one of the blocks, and right-click on it in this window, you can transform it. You can rotate it in the X, Y, or Z direction. Let's see what happens when we rotate in the Z direction 90 degrees. Nothing. That's because it's been rotated around this axis, and since it's essentially a square, nothing happens. However, if we transform in the Y-axis 90 degrees, you'll see it flips. Then we can modify it in this and put it on top. Then we can use our Shift and click to drag down this block and drag across this block. This makes for rapidly constructing things. Now, we have essentially a tunnel. We want a cube. And now if we do it and click transform, and this time we do it in the Z direction, we'll notice that something happens this time. This is because it's been modified and it's no longer a square in the Z direction. So now we have our cube. And now it's just a matter of copying and pasting blocks. Now if you ever get confused as to which block to grab, you can always look inside your camera and click on the block you want, then drag it and it will appear. Now as you can see, we've constructed our cube, and you're well on your way to making your own maps.